lot of bullshit's happening concerning this Julio Jones and Cam Newton. This bullshit. That shit whack as fuck, man. All right, shit whack as hell. You got the Carolina Panthers on their YouTube, on their channel, pretty much on uh social media. And sorry, I'm a little bit distracted, but um Julio Jones, Carolina Panthers, Cam Newton is they're at a all right, I'm sitting down, man, so I can talk clearly. But they're at a charity event, and just happen, just so happens Julio is taking pictures with Cam Newton and a lot of people. But you got the Carolina Panthers, man. They want to try to start some shit, just like Julio said a couple of days ago, man. About you know, there's not a lot of stories right now. Everybody trying to find something. Everybody trying to create a story. I mean, all we have right now is the Golden State Warriors and the whack-ass Cavs. That's what we have. Everybody's waiting on football. Everybody's waiting on to see, who's going to be the new champion. I got Golden State. I mean, there's no secret. Even though LeBron did his damn thing, I'm going to say the boy did his thing, 51 points. But it wasn't enough. But this is not what I'm talking about. It's all about football. Everybody wants to see football. Everybody looking for, football season to come around. And, man, I wish they would just leave Julio alone. And I wish Julio would just bring his ass to OTA just so they can shut the hell up. I'm tired of complaining. I'm tired of complaining about this subject. I'm tired of talking about it. I'm ready to see some football, all right? This is what I want to see, man. I want to see Julio Jones. I want to see him and Matt Ryan, try to improve on that touchdown ratio. And it's not just Julio. Last year was just a debacle, man. Last year was absolutely, I wouldn't say horrible, but considering the fact that we came from, the number one offense in the league, and, in 2016 and 2017, you have Steve Sarkisian coming in, and the offense just didn't click for whatever reason. I want to see some more touchdowns. I'm with you guys. I love Julio Jones. I love Matt Ryan. I love my team. But I need to see more touchdowns, all right? Just plain and simple. But, again, man, Carolina Panthers, if you guys don't know, most of you probably do know, but they put a tweet out. Cam Newton and Julio Jones took a picture together, but they wanted to troll. And I understand trolling, but at the same time, I ain't with that shit right about now. All right? I'm not with that crap right about now, man. I'm ready to see my Julio Jones and Kemp with Matt Ryan working on their craft. And I don't want to hear a bunch of stories. I don't want to hear a bunch of negative-ass stories about Julio Jones possibly leaving the team, possibly, all this type of crap. They pretty much put a tweet out there saying, with Cam Newton and Julio standing next to each other, they pretty much trolling them, telling them to, saying that, Julio says hi, the Atlanta Falcons. Then they later on deleted the tweet because I think it is against NFL rules. It could be tampering of sorts. So they later on deleted the tweet, and it was just fucking stupid. I understand you trolling, but this is not football season. Even if there is a contract issue, Carolina Panthers could possibly get in some trouble for possibly tampering with Julio Jones. So it was just a dumbass tweet. I really didn't think none of it. But Carolina Panthers, man, y'all got to do better than that, bro. If y'all gonna troll, you got to do better than that. I mean, I can't stand New Orleans, but they came harder than you guys did. That shit was whack, bro. All right, it was whack. It was stupid, and you could possibly get into trouble if there could be some truth to what Julio Jones is. He pretty much denied it with his TMZ report, and I think I left the video, one of these videos. I made a video about it, but that he's not going anywhere. He with the city, the team, the organization. He with Arthur Blank. Arthur Blank pretty much said he loves Julio. Julio loves the city. So I mean, it's nothing to worry about. But at the same time, man, Carolina Panthers, they're doing their best to try to troll. They're doing their best to try to cause division with the fans and indecisiveness, and just worry with these Atlanta Falcons fans. And I ain't got time for that crap, man. Seriously, I really don't have time for it. I wish Julio would just bring his ass to camp and get this over with. But another thing, one thing that I want to talk about, besides this, is the quarterbacks. What do I expect from the quarterbacks this year? 3 stories, 3 things that I want to talk about. Matt Ryan, Matt Schaub, and Kurt Benkert for the 3rd string quarterback. Matt Ryan. What am I looking forward to Matt Ryan? Matt Ryan, this year, I want to see more touchdowns. And specifically with Julio Jones. I have to see more scoring touchdowns. I have to see more touchdowns, period. Now, like I said, I love Matt Ryan. I love Julio Jones. But we need the scores, all right? We need big plays from Julio. We need big plays from Matt Ryan. Doing their thing like they did in 2016, going back to the Super Bowl. And Julio is going to get his yards. I'm not concerned about that. He's going to get his yards. He's going to get his receptions. But he needs to get in the end zone. We need more touchdowns from Julio. We need more touchdowns from all of the receivers. We need Austin Hooper to play much, much better. I'm tired of seeing him, drop a lot of passes. He's very extremely talented. He's in the open field. He's one of the most dangerous tight ends when he has the ball in his hand. He really has speed. He has the agility to get open. Austin Hooper has talent. So I'm looking forward to seeing what he can do. Austin Hooper being more of an end zone threat. This another guy that I would love to see improvement in. Mohamed Sanu. I think he's pretty much been Matt Ryan's go-to guy. I don't know what's the thing with Matt Ryan and Julio in the end zone, but those guys just don't seem to have the chemistry, that they do. And it could be a number of things. It could be how the defense is playing him. They could be triple teaming, double teaming him. But that goes with Steve Sarkisian. Steve Sarkisian has to draw up plays to get Julio open. He has to draw up plays to get Julio the ball, to get him touchdown. This is not just all on Matt Ryan. This is a complete and total team effort where you have the best receiver in the game. You have to design plays to get him the ball. Simple as that. What's up, Laffy Taffy? Every time I see your name, man, I always want to sing that song, man. But yes, man, I want to see more touchdowns from Matt Ryan and Julio Jones. These guys, tremendous chemistry. They love each other. And it's going to be here for years to come. But this year, what I want to see from Matt Ryan is I want to see him more vocal. I want to see Matt Ryan take more chances as far as being a quarterback like a Aaron Rodgers, like a Tom Brady, like a Peyton Manning once was, where he has the freedom to change any play that he feels like. All right. This is for the last couple of years, even with going back with Kyle Shanahan, Matt Ryan hasn't had the freedom to do whatever he feels. Now, he is going on his 10th year. 10th years. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. This is his first off season without any real injuries. So I think this is good, man. Julio really doesn't need OTAs, if you ask me. A guy like him, he's shown us that he is capable of, putting up numbers. Julio's going to be Julio. So we really don't need him. He knows the business. He knows the business, and he knows what he needs to do. So I'm not worried about Julio being, ready for training camp and whatnot. He's going to do what he do. But, again, man, I keep saying it over and over again. I need to see more touchdowns. Simple as that. That's the only knock on both guys. We really have two future Hall of Famers, and Matt Ryan and Julio Jones. And I know you guys, a lot of people out there saying Matt Ryan is a Hall of Famer. Damn right. Look at his numbers. He's a fucking Hall of Famer. Point blank. Period. Uh, has he had more power under Malarkey? Yes, he did. He was still learning. I think what Mike Malarkey, what a lot of people don't realize, any quarterback that has a running game gonna look better. So it's not so much that he doesn't have a lot of power, freedom to do and make calls. And the more I think about it, he has had more freedom under Mike Malarkey. I think he has more power than he does now. But a thing with, yes, audibles. The thing with having a defensive-minded coach in Dan Quinn, he likes a balance. He really likes a balanced offense. So he won't put his defense in harsh predicaments. And, you know, that goes to Dan Quinn's thinking. When you have a decent defensive-minded coach, he's not going to take a lot of chances. He's not going to give the quarterback a lot of leeway. I know he trusts Matt Ryan, and he has every reason to trust Matt Ryan. But play calling, he's going to trust the offensive coordinator more so than the quarterback. And I know, again, Matt Ryan deserves, and he can call his own plays. This is his offense. This is his team, and you know he has that. He has the ability to, you know, call a game like a Peyton Manning, Drew Brees, those guys that you know, have complete control. And thinking about it now, Drew Brees doesn't have a lot of that power. He doesn't have a lot of power as far as calling plays and switching plays and audible and whatnot. If you pay attention to the New Orleans Saints, New Orleans Saints, Sean Payton, he calls everything. He calls everything. So it's not so much that these guys, you know, have the power to change the from audibles and call audibles and whatnot. The offensive coordinators, these guys have to do a better job of setting up plays. And this is something that happened last year. And having a first year offensive coordinator in Steve Sarkisian, Matt Ryan, both guys were really learning each other. What Matt likes, what Steve Sarkisian likes, and you know, it was a learning curve. So I'm gonna give Steve Sarkisian a pass for his first year as an offensive coordinator. But as far as Matt Ryan having more power and audible, I'm not concerned about that. I just want to see better plays. I really want to see better plays, play calling for Steve Sarkisian, because last year it was extremely vanilla. I didn't see a lot of plays downfield as much as it was with Kyle Shanahan. And as much as I really don't, and I despise and I cannot stand his guts, Kyle Shanahan was a more aggressive offensive coordinator, and this is something that I think would go. They were willing to change this year. Is Steve Sarkisian has to get more aggressive. We had Taylor Gabriel, and you know, under Kyle Shanahan, Taylor Gabriel balled his ass off. All right, right. Those jet sweeps. I mean, jet sweep on the damn goal line. But Taylor Gabriel, soaking wet, he's 180 pounds maybe. That's it. 180 pounds on the goal line. You have 10 men on the block, on the goal line, and you hand the ball to a 180-pound wide receiver. What the hell are you thinking? That's the type of stuff that will get you fired in the NFL. Handing the ball off to Taylor Gabriel. Absolutely foolish. So it's not so much that Steve Sarkisian doesn't he doesn't call good plays because the Falcons last year they were number 1 and number 2 in third down conversion. So he obviously knows what he's doing, but his creativity sets offensive coordinators apart. This is what makes excuse me, Sean Payton so great. This is what makes Doug Peterson in Philadelphia so great. When Carson Wentz went down, he completely changed his offense around to to benefit. And I'm what's his name? Nick Foles. I think that's his name. But Nick Foles, I don't know why. I know his name is Nick, but Nick Foles. But he completely changed his offense around to really push and kind of tailor the offense around Nick Foles to make him comfortable. This is something that Steve Sarkisian has to understand. He has to get more creative, and having a guy like a Mohamed Sanu in the red zone, which I think will be more of a red zone target than Julio Jones, because he just gets it. Him and Matt Ryan just have tremendous chemistry when it comes down to the goal line. Always his number 1 target, Mohamed Sanu, and I have no problem with that. I just want to see more touchdowns, period. But Steve Sarkisian has to be more creative. I'm tired of seeing him like Daffy Taffy. I don't like saying their name, but I don't like saying Laffy Taffy, but I'm tired of seeing jet sweeps. All right, I'm tired of seeing jet sweeps with wide receivers. I'm tired of seeing flat routes. I'm tired of seeing 5 and 10 yard hitches. Okay, Steve Sarkisian, you got to do better, dude. You got to call a better game. You have to split Devontae Freeman out, and put him in one-on-one situations with running back, because you put him and Coleman one-on-one with any running back, 9 times out of 10 they will win that battle. So last year his creativity as an offensive coordinator was just lacking, and that's all it is to it. Steve Sarkisian is he is a terrific offensive coordinator. All right, he's a brilliant offensive mind. You go back to him in Washington when he was a head coach in Washington, and that's not to bring it up his drinking problems, because we already know what that's about. But when he was in Washington, he took an awful offense. This offense has been awful for years to come. But when Steve Sarkisian got there, he completely turned that franchise around, and this is what he can do. He's a genius when it comes to play action. He's a genius for getting guys open with these short and intermediate routes. This is what Steve Sarkisian is great at. He knows how to chalk up play. He knows how to get these guys like Justin Hardy, Mohamed Sanu, these guys who can go across the middle. He knows how to get these guys the ball. That's a given with Steve Sarkisian. He's a genius when it comes to the running game and play action. That's what he does best. But what's going to make him a better offensive coordinator is he's had to be more aggressive with the play action, going deep, using Julio with the deep cross. This is something that Julio didn't have a lot of, even though he had 1,400 yards. We didn't see a lot of deep plays for Julio, and the one that we saw in Carolina was just an epic loss. That was just epic drop. All right, but as far as Steve Sarkisian, offensive coordinator, I want to see him be more creative. I'm totally convinced that he is a brilliant mind offensively. Like I said, the Falcons were number 1 when it comes down to third down conversions. So I'm not worried about that. But I want to see more creative plays from Steve Sarkisian. Because you have a Julio Jones. Now you have a Calvin Ridley. And I haven't said anything about Calvin Ridley. The more that I see this guy, the more that I am so excited. What are you going to do as a defense How in the hell are you going to stop Julio Jones? Okay, this guy runs a 4.243. One of the fastest guys in the league. What are you going to do with Julio Jones and Calvin Ridley, who is just as fast as Julio Jones? How in the hell are you going to guard these guys? Are you going to constantly double Julio Jones and leave Calvin Ridley one-on-one with your third receiver, with your third cornerback? That's a mismatch for the Falcons. That's a mismatch. And that's not, forget about Mohamed Sanu. Mohamed Sanu is a terrific second option. He's a terrific second option, second receiver. Like I said, he can go across the middle, catch touchdowns in the red zone. He's a terrific red zone threat. Third down conversion going across the middle. He's terrific. You have three guys that can go for 100 yards at any time. This is what the Falcons. I haven't said anything about Tevin Coleman, Austin Hooper, Devontae Freeman, and you still have to worry about Justin Hardy. Falcons getting these 3, 4, 5 wide receivers sets. They're going to be dangerous. Spread you out, run the ball, and if Brandon Fusco is any better than Wes Weiser, which I think he is, it's going to be, this Falcons offense can be absolutely scary. All right, we could be right back to that 2016 form. But it all comes down to Steve Sarkisian being more creative as a offensive coordinator, because the Falcons have the weapons. We cannot deny that. They have the weapons, and you have a defense that is constantly improving. They're young, they're fast, and you have a Tack McKinley and a defensive tackle in Grady Jarrett, who is just getting better and better each year. This defense, this offense could at least, 24 points a game. That's easy. That's easy. 24 points a game. Yes, that's absolutely easy. That's easy money for the Falcons. And the defense, the defense only averages about 21 points a game. So if the offense is any better than they were last year, you're looking at another Super Bowl. I'm not worried about Philadelphia. I'm not worried about Philadelphia. We could beat them. I'm not worried about LA Rams. I mean, everyone else is so worried about them. Yes, you look on paper. Yes, they're tremendous. Yes, Jared Goff had a year last year. But I'm not sure the previous year, you were looking at a bust in Jared Goff. Yes, you have Todd Gurley, who is a tremendous athlete. But, defensively, those guys still have to play. We don't know how they're going to gel. We don't know how the Rams are going to gel. San Francisco may be a better offensive team. The Rams, I'm not too worried about the Giants. Although I think they could be a much better team if they get a running game. Because you still have Julio Jones, but Odell Beckham and Eli Manning, who's still a terrific quarterback. But their offensive line, we still yet to see what their offensive line could be. But as far as the NFC, I'm not really afraid of anybody. I'm really not afraid of looking at the Falcons. The Falcons' defense is real. This defense is legit. So when you look at what they have, the Falcons have in line, Minnesota could be a very good team. I'm not really worried about it, concerned about everything. A lot of the teams. The offense is really, just creativity. That's the only thing that they're really lacking. Creativity. And again, Steve Sarkisian will be in his second year as offensive coordinator. And I think he'll be much, much better. Continue to improve on creativity, deep plays down the field. Falcons teams can be absolutely this Falcon team could be really dangerous because Calvin Ridley, like I said before, you put Calvin Ridley on a third cornerback, 9 times out of teams he's going to win against that third cornerback. A lot of teams don't have one good corner. So you put a guy like Calvin Ridley on your third cornerback, that's problems for the safeties, which is going to open up a whole nother can of worms because you still have the double Julio Jones. He's still the best receiver in the game. But completion, yes, was the completion rate was low. We lined up with 3 receivers or less, but that goes back to what I said about creativity. When the Falcons lined up in certain formations, Steve Sarkisian just everyone knew what he was going to do. It wasn't. I mean, you look at the Philadelphia game, and I keep going back to the Philadelphia game. These guys were yelling before the play even started. They knew everything the Falcons were going to do before it even happened. Matt Ryan didn't even hike the ball before that team even before Philadelphia knew what the play worked. I mean, before they even hiked the ball, Philadelphia already knew what it was. So it goes back to creativity. A lot of those things can be played against. If the Falcons come out in those same formations and use different things from those exact same formations, they could really fool a lot of people. But that all comes down to, how are they going to defend Calvin Ridley, and if Brandon Fusco is much better offensive guard than Wes Schweitzer, because Wes Schweitzer was getting his ass tore by everybody. I mean, Aaron McDonald, but Aaron Donald, he was terrorizing. He was terrorizing Wes Schweitzer. He was terrorizing this guy. So this is one reason why I want to keep an eye on Brandon Fusco. I want to keep an eye on Ryan Swader. I thought he was extremely disappointing last year. I thought he was he really wasn't any better than Wes Schweitzer, in my opinion, because I have a higher expectation for Ryan Swader, being that he is a guy he is definitely experienced, but he gave up a lot of big plays last year, a lot of pressure. So the offensive line, if the offensive line is any better than they were last year, it's particularly Wes Schweitzer and Brandon Fusco. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I can definitely agree there. Yeah, I can agree there. That was just a mess. It really was just a mess. I'm not exactly sure. It could have been Ryan just trying to do too much. He's trying to stay inside to help Wes Schweitzer, and so he got beat on a lot of plays going on the outside. So that could very well be the case. So I'm not going to deny that. But as far as Ryan Schrader, he still has to be much better than he was last year. The right side of the offense has to be much better than they were last year. But Mack, oh yes, absolutely. Ryan Mack, yeah. I think that had a lot to do with the play calling as well. You just can't leave Wes Schweitzer. I think it was just an experiment going wrong. But you can't leave out the importance of losing a guy like Andy Levitre. Last year, also, if we had Andy Levitre in the playoffs, we're looking at a completely different team. You're looking at a completely different team in the playoffs. The Falcons, they were like a possession away. If Keanu Neal catches that interception, we're looking at a completely different game. We're looking at a completely different game. Tevin Coleman was absolutely on fire. But for whatever reason, and it goes, and I keep saying this, it goes back to offensive coordinator. You have to learn how to just feed the hot guy. And this is something that has plagued us since the Super Bowl. We just don't seem to understand when a guy is hot, find a way to keep the ball in his hand. And Tevin Coleman was hot in the fourth quarter. Philadelphia just had no answers for him. They had no answers for him. Devontae Freeman was out. He was going back and forth on the sideline with the knee, sprained knee ligament. So, and Tevin Coleman, and that's good. And this is one reason why I don't want to see Tevin Coleman gone. It's because I really love this guy. I think he can be a number one back, but when you have a Devontae Freeman, it's not. This guy can do it all. You can't tackle this guy. It's hard to tackle Devontae Freeman. Now, as much as I love Tevin Coleman, he is not Devontae Freeman. You see this guy stop on the dime. He reminds me of Barry Sanders. He can catch the ball in the backfield. He has speed. He has breakaway speed, quickness, the hands. I mean, he needs to work. He really needs to work on his blocking. But when you have all that in your repertoire, man, as much as I love Tevin Coleman, Devontae Freeman is the real deal. But again, man, what I expect from the quarterbacks, Matt Ryan, I want to see more. I really want to see more touchdowns. I want to see I really want to see the chemistry with he and Austin Hooper. I want to see, as far as the second quarterback and the backup quarterback, Matt Sharp, who I'm still not convinced he will be in the Falcons. But then again, the way things, if he hasn't been cut now, Matt Sharp will be back as the backup quarterback for $5 million for a backup quarterback. But again, man, we don't know how the NFL is. You one hit away from being on the IR. So having a guy like a Matt Sharp, I think, is a excellent insurance plan. Matt Sharp, I want to see if he has anything left. That's going to be difficult to really see because you have a guy like Matt Ryan who really doesn't miss any snaps. Always. I mean, he's been consistent for the last 10 years. Hasn't missed a game since the last 10 years. But yeah, he hasn't missed a game for the last 10 years. And you look at Matt Sharp, what can he give you? I just don't know. I really don't know what he can give you. Kurt Benkirk as the third quarterback. You really don't really expect anything from the third quarterback. But the third quarterback, Matt Sharp, Kurt Benkirk, see if he can give you anything. And you have Kurt Benkirk, Matt Sharp. I'm not convinced those guys are someone that you really want to, rely on. But the quarterbacks, as far as the quarterbacks are concerned, man, the Falcons are sitting pretty. Like I said, I really don't expect Matt Ryan to be injured. But again, when it's the NFL, you have to have an offensive line. You really have the good offensive line to make sure that your quarterback don't take too many hits, that he doesn't get injured on foolish plays, and this is something that, the Falcons had to address, is the offensive guard position. And Wes Schweitzer, as much as I think he has potential, he hasn't grown into it yet. But, Brandon Fusco will most likely win that right guard position unless Wes Schweitzer just has a breakthrough where he just, pancaking dude. He improves as a pass blocker, and his run blocking is just everything just fits. So that's the only reason, that's the only way that I see, Brandon Fusco not being the offensive guard, the right guard. But again, man, quarterbacks, they're sitting fine. Running backs, what I want to see from Devontae Freeman, I want to see if Devontae Freeman is totally healed from the knee injury last year, during the last bit of the season. The concussions, with Devontae Freeman. I have to see that he's over this because, as we know, as a lot of people know, with Luke Kuechly, one concussion leads to two concussions, leads to three concussions, leads to four. You just never know with these head injuries. So I want to see if Devontae Freeman is back from that, his knee injury, because you really don't want, a guy like Devontae Freeman and his talent level. You don't want to see his career end, with the concussion issues. But as far as the second running back and Tevin Coleman, and I've said this over and over again, I just don't see him coming back with the Falcons. I just don't see him coming back. I don't see how the Falcons can avoid from losing Tevin Coleman. I just don't see it. We just don't have enough money. There's not enough money to go around for guys like him. This is the reason why they drafted Ito Smith, for insurance, to see if they would have to. If they can come up with, I don't think they can come up with any extra money to keep Tevin Coleman, and that's like something freak crazy thing that's happened. I don't see Tevin Coleman coming back. I love the guy and I want him back. I want him for the rest of his career because I think he is that damn. I really think he's that good. He's a more powerful back. He runs like an Adrian Peterson. He has better hands than Adrian Peterson. He has that breakaway speed. So the guy, he's a top back. He's a top back. He's a starter in this league. And if I were him, I would want starter money. And the Falcons can't give him starter money. As much as I love him, they can't give it to him. You already have it, like I said before, and this live is all about the Julio Jones and the Cam Newton picture. But when you're talking about money, we don't know. You still have to pay Julio Jones, and Julio Jones pretty much said that everything is fine. He's not hurting for money, blah blah blah, and all this. You still never know. You still have to play Jake Matthews. You have to see what you can do with Andy Levitre, which I think he is. This is probably his last year. Have Tevin Coleman. Mohamed Sanu, this may be his last year. There's a lot of things with the Atlanta Falcons up in the air right there on this offensive team. And as far as contracts are concerned, I haven't said anything about the defense. Defense, you still have to pay a guy like a Keanu O'Neal that's coming up, a Grady Jarrett that's coming up, Vic Beasley, Deion Jones, Devondre Campbell. These guys need to be paid. They will be paid. So there's a lot of things up in the air as far as, what Thomas Dimitroff and Dan Quinn is going to do as far as the contracts are concerned. We really don't know. So having a guy like a Tevin Coleman on the team is always good, but I'm not sure we're going to re-sign him. Ito Smith, third running back. I'm not sure what. I think he can be a viable third option. As far as the running back is concerned, I like what I saw. He is another one of those Devontae Freeman type running backs where he can catch out backfield. He's elusive. He can, he really has some talent. But we will see more in preseason starts. Wide receivers. I think I pretty made everything clear what I wanted from the wide receivers. Julio Jones, want to see more touchdown. Mohamed Sanu, I just want him continue to do what he does. Calvin Ridley would be more of a deep threat. You have Justin Hardy, who I think is a wild card. He is definitely a wild card in this team. He'd be extremely important in those four wide receiver sets, the five wide receiver set. A guy that's going to be going against a safety, probably most likely, and a fourth cornerback. So you put Justin Hardy, who can get open. You have Calvin Ridley. The Falcons are sitting pretty at wide receiver. Tight ends, obviously, Austin Hooper. Austin Hooper needs to just work on his hands. Like I love Austin Hooper. I love his ability to run after the catch. He's one of those tight ends that is athletic, has tremendous skills, but he needs to work on his hands. Simple and plain. He dropped way too many passes last year. Blocking is excellent, so I'm not worried about anything as far as his blocking is concerned. But he needs to improve with his hand. I'm tired of seeing him, drop passes that he should catch, especially, in big third downs and end zone. It was just too many interceptions. I think Matt Ryan had threw 3 or 4 passes to him that he dropped that went for interceptions. Can't have that. Tight end Logan Paulson, he's not going to be anything more than just a backup, a guy to come in and block, pretty much like if Levine Tololo was. So I'm not really looking too much for him. You look on the offense, like I said, the offense is good. Defensive line, Tat McKinley, I think he could be about between the 8 and 10 sack. I think he had 8 and 10 sack range. I'm looking for big things from him. I think he has the potential to be a Pro Bowler this year, especially with Vic Beasley going back to full-time defensive end. You're not going to see a lot of that bull crap that we saw last year with him being the linebacker and in coverage. I'm not going to see a lot of that, so he's going to get back to rushing the passer. Grady Jarrett obviously is exactly what I think he is, and is a star in the making. He reminds me of a lot like Aaron Donald. All right, he really reminds me of Aaron Donald. Dejan Sanat, another guy that I think, and he reminds me of a lot of Grady Jarrett, but a more stronger, more physical version of Grady Jarrett. He has the potential to get to the quarterback with Dan Quinn's tutelage. Brian Young, the defensive line coach for the Falcons. He really has a lot of coaching. He really has potential he has the potential to be a good defensive tackle. More likely we'll see him in run defense. Terrell McClain, a veteran and underrated defensive tackle. Didn't have a big year when he was Washington. He was pretty good when he played for the Cowboys. Excellent veteran player that you want in stop and run defense. So, what am I missing? I'm missing Jack Crawford, who I saw. I saw Jack Crawford in pass rushing during the preseason. I thought he was poised to be special in this defense. He really had that potential. The way he was getting to the quarterback, he was wreaking havoc. Granted, it's the preseason, but the way he was playing in the preseason, I thought he was going to be a huge player for the Falcons. I think this year, coming back from a torn pectoral, I believe it was a torn pectoral, but coming back from injury, he definitely will be instrumental in the third nickel pass rushing defensive end. Derek Shelby will be more of a base run stopping defensive tackle. So Falcons have a lot of weapons on their defensive line. I'm really excited about that. Linebackers, Deion Jones, bro. Deion Jones is the real deal, all right? To me, he's the best linebacker in the game. Even more so than Luke Kuechly. He is better than Luke Kuechly, okay? Period, point blank. I know everybody may not agree, but I don't care. Deion Jones is the real deal. All right, as far as him being, he's the best. He is the best linebacker in coverage. There's no better linebacker in the game, more athletic. He make plays on balls like safeties. He moves around like cornerbacks. This guy has 4.2, 4.4, 4.3 speed, if I'm not mistaken, but I think it's more like 4.4 speed. But this guy is fast as hell as a linebacker. He's just one of those players where, you think that you can just get the ball over his head, you can squeeze in here and now. Deion Jones just know how to make plays. He's just a fucking playmaker at linebacker. And you don't want to, force balls over the middle. You saw what he did to Drew Brees a couple of times. So this guy is definitely special at linebacker. Devondre Campbell is the most underrated linebacker on this defense. He is the most important. He allows Deion Jones to just run the field. Devondre Campbell can do it all. He can rush the passer. He's really good when it comes down to run defense, edge. He really reminds me of a lot of a faster, more athletic Brooks Reed. A lot of people, looking at Brooks Reed like, you giving Brooks Reed credit. Yes, Brooks Reed is hella good. He's a terrific veteran player. Definitely good option at a backup, pass rusher. But Brooks Reed is a terrific edge defender, a run defender. This is what stops big plays from guys like a Alvin Kamara getting out on the edge and taking it for the house. You got to have an edge defender like a Devondre Campbell, edge defender like a Brooks Reed, who can stop plays and make make these guys turn back inside. So you have to have guys that are strong at the point. Devondre Campbell is that. He can rush the passer, good edge defender. He's terrific in coverage. You see him a lot on covering the tight end. So you really don't have big bodies on a smaller frame guy like a but Deion Jones. So you're looking at that. This Falcons defense, man, they have so many weapons. I mean, I'm just talking about the linebackers. We have two linebackers that are capable of being Pro Bowls. And one, Deion Jones is a Pro Bowler, but Devondre Campbell is not far off. Devondre Campbell is one, like I said, he's the most underrated person on this Falcons defense. He is huge for this defense. You have Duke Riley, who I really like, going to his second year. I think he is tremendously athletic, terrific instincts, but he can't tackle for shit. Improve your tackling, Duke Riley. This Falcons defense is fast and furious. This Falcons defense is real. Devondre Campbell, Deion Jones, Duke Riley, those are the starting linebackers. And, there's not many linebackers. It's not many linebacking crew that you can say from starter to starter, specifically with, Devondre Campbell and, Duke Riley, but Deion Jones, that are their Pro Bowl potential. Falcons have a loaded defense. When you look at the secondary, I know Desmond Trufant was, a bit coming back from his injury, so he's lacking a little confidence, man. He could play it much better, but a lot last year, the Falcons were getting beat in a lot of man position, a lot of man defenses, and that's partially because you have to try to put how to protect a guy like Brian Poole. Brian Poole doesn't need to be a corner. Brian Poole, as much as I love this guy, is a terrific blitzer, terrific tackler, but you put him one-on-one man defense, he's going to get burnt by 90% of these wide receivers in the slot position. So know for a fact that Desmond Trufant is better as a cornerback in man-to-man. He's better in press coverage. You can rely on Robert Alford, who I think is a underrated corner. He's more of a ball hawk. He has ball skills. He gets more interceptions than Desmond Trufant. So I think you're looking at the Falcons defense, man. Now I haven't even said anything about Oliver. I said Oliver, I think is going to be a terrific, terrific player for the Falcons and allow the Falcons to match up much, much better with wide receivers this year. So looking at this Falcons defense, look at this team, man. I'm very excited to see what they have in store, man. Not even gonna get into the special teams. I think Gage will. Well, no, I do it. Gage, the Falcons special teams was just horrible. Special teams was absolutely horrible. You look at they have a lot of plays, and I keep going back to this Philadelphia game because everything that went wrong in that game. Everything that we were lacking was under microscope. You have the special teams that was awful. You had the blocking, and you had the offense that couldn't score. Special teams were just awful. We were 32nd, dead last when it comes to special teams. This is not like a Falcons team. One thing we've always had is a strong special teams under Keith Armstrong, one of the most underrated coaches in the league. Keith Armstrong is absolutely terrific, but we didn't have a lot of guys. You have Justin Gage now, who's terrific special teams at LSU. Now you have the Justin Bethel, another guy who will be contributing to special teams. And you have Kamal Ishmael. He'll be another guy that contributing to special teams. So the Falcons have a lot of athletes and guys that'll contribute more to special teams this year. As far as the return game, I think Calvin Ridley may, Justin Gage, those guys might end up being the returners. I'm looking probably more so Calvin Ridley. Justin Gage could definitely push him, but I think they're really going to use Calvin Ridley to be, try to be something special, a playmaker for the Falcons. So I think, this year they're going to try to utilize Calvin Ridley's athleticism on special teams and, going deep and, big plays for the Falcons, use him in screens, the wide receiver screens and, reverses and whatnot. So I'm really excited about this Falcons team, man. I know a lot of people, I know a lot of guys, analysts, are not really high on the Atlanta Falcons, but this Falcons team get any better on offense. They get back to that 2016 offense form. This team will be back in the Super Bowl at home with a chance to be, Super Bowl champs. Play in your home for a Super Bowl. Why not? Falcons really have a great team. Special teams. Matt Bryant is just Matt Bryant. He's going to do. I'm not worried about him. So, Matt Barsha, I thought he had a down year last year. Wasn't that strong. He just looked injured to me last year. So, special teams was just a mess for me last year. But this year, I'm expecting them to be a lot stronger. But with that said, man, you guys leave your names in the comments. Love to subscribe to you guys. Any of you guys have a YouTube channel out there, man, hit me up on any one of my videos. Tell me you guys your channel, leave your channel, name of your channel there, and we can possibly collaborate, make a video together. I mean, I'm willing to do anything to help you guys out, man. We need more Falcons. We really need more channels out here for Falcons football. Don't have a lot of channels on YouTube for Falcons football. So, the homie from the neighbors have AR-10, the guys that I know of. But again, man, Atlanta Hawks, Atlanta Braves, if any of you guys have a channel, again, leave your comments. Leave your username in the comments, and I will subscribe to you guys, collaborate, whatever. But let me know what you guys think about this video and the Julio Jones and Cam Newton picture. Let me know what's up, man. And I'm about to be out, man. I stay a lot longer. Every time I do these live videos, I always stay a lot longer than I attend. But let me know what y'all think, man. Your boy Man Mike is out, man. Do not forget to hit that subscribe button. Tell everybody about this channel, man. Let's talk some Falcons football and continue to be positive and stop hating. Let's stop the hating. We need this. We really do need this. We really need to stop the hating. I can go another 30 minutes just talk about the hating that our own fans, the same fans that claim to love this organization, anytime anything goes wrong, you get negative. All right? I can do a whole video, and I may just do a video on just the hating ass Atlanta Falcons fan who claim to be so down. But let me know what you guys think, man. Leave your username below. If you want to collaborate on the video, man, hit me up. Leave your names, comment below, and I'm gone. Peace.